Good afternoon, Coronation. I am super excited to be hosting another conversation with Kendra, and we have an amazing fellow female entrepreneur with us today who has an incredible story of inspiration and just how to get it done. Total grinder. I'm super excited. So, Tonette Pipkins, how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing great, Kendra. How about you?
I am super excited to have you. Life is good. We're in spring, a little bit of crazy, blooming around here. Everybody's a little raspy, but other than that, we are good in North Carolina. I hope you are.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm so grateful to be on your call. I thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, we're going to jump right in. I did not know about Tonette's past until somebody called me and said, you really should interview her for your conversation with Kendra because you guys have a lot of things in common. And I was like, well, what would that be? And they said, she's a runner. And I
Yeah.
said, well, I'm a pretend runner. I love to run, but I'm the turtle. And so Rick gives me a lot of grief about I'm never going to win a race. And he's exactly right. I'm never going to win a race, but I do love being fit and I do enjoy being out in nature. So that's how we got on this call today.
So,
That we have a mutual friend who said I should interview you. So I just want to jump in and say, how did you get into running? And we're going to unfold this story as you guys listen. She has a huge career in running. So we're going to start with how'd you get into running? And then we're going to take it from there. Fair enough?
there. Yeah,
Let's do
absolutely.
it.
So, running became a passion when I was pretty much looking up to my older sister. I was 7 years old when I decided I wanted to run because I wanted to be just like my oldest sister. So, Penny, my sister, was a great inspiration for me. At the age of 7, we decided to sign up for summer camp running, and it kind of stuck from there. I didn't realize I was going to propel to where I ended up going, but it was just something fun to do. Pretty much look up to my older sister and just take it from there.
Awesome. So now, when she says running, this started at 7, but her career spanned for many, many, many years. And so some of you listening to this may not realize, but she still holds many records at the San Diego State University. And so, how do you get to that level? I mean, you start at 7, you get through high school, and then how'd you get to college? What did that look like? Tell us how that panned
what
out.
it what it really looked like, honestly, when I realized how great I was, it was more so 10th grade, and I always wanted to go to the military. I never even saw myself going to college. I wanted to be a Marine, so it was totally opposite of me running track. So when I started getting people looking at me, colleges, by saying, hey, Tonette, you can go far with this, you can go to college for free, and I'm like, what? Coming from my background, going to college, that wasn't something that we can put in our budget. So it was one of those things, we either earned a scholarship or we went to the military. So when I had an opportunity as my talent for running, I pretty much propelled upon that. So when I was in my 10th grade year, I realized how great I could be at it. So did really, really well. San Diego State was the school that I actually chose to go to. And once I went to San Diego State, talking to my coach, he said, "Oh, Tonette, you can actually go beyond college. You can actually run for the pros." And from a little girl, once again, looking up to my sister, I dreamt of going to the Olympics. But once you actually get to that level, it's like, wow, this is actually here. So it just more so propelled into me going into that direction. Took it very seriously my sophomore year of high school, and the rest was history.
So I don't know if you guys heard the word that just rolled off her tongue very flippant, but Olympics. That's why we're here. I admire this lady. Oh my goodness. I would never
Yeah,
have been able to do that. As I said, I'm slow and steady and I don't win the race, but I get it done. And so when I was researching your background, you're a Speedy Gonzalez. And so I want to hear we get to college and then does somebody like tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, welcome to the trials for the Olympics? I want to know that next step. So we get out of high school, we get to San Diego State, and then we're on our way to the Olympics.
yeah.
How does that work? What does that look like?
Everything was structured, Kendra. It was more so we got to figure out the eating. It started with the eating habits, certain things that I could and could not get to, certain things I could and could not eat. So I had to be a certain body fat. Then I had to run certain mileage to stay in shape. Then it went to speed. Then it went to visionary. More so, if you could see yourself doing it, you will actually be there. So my coach was really big on imagining what could be versus the obstacles that we see every single day. So discipline, focus, drive, and determination of what I really wanted.
So how does someone find an athlete in college to get him to come and go to an Olympic trials? What I mean, do your coaches do that work for you? Or?
No, no, actually the coaches give you the work to do the work out, but it comes down to timing, time, performance, ranking. So it really goes in that order. Once you have the ranking, once you reach a certain goal or a certain task, then you get invited. Once you're invited, then you actually try out for the Olympics. And if you make it, then you go to the next level.
Okay, so you get to the Olympics, and if you guys can see this thunderstorm, flash flood going on in her
Truly.
background, we can hear thunder, we can see lightning, and she's not bugged at all by this. So this just shows you how determined this lady is just to overcome and to push through. So I'm so excited that this is all playing out. So you get to the Olympic trials,
Mhm.
and as a lady, I think all of us are always comparing ourselves to someone that's famous or somebody that's on TV or somebody that's thinner than us or more successful than us or whatever. And so I can only imagine not that you were naive, but naive to get to trials. I'm sure that was your first time there, but there's probably ladies that have been there many times before who knew what to expect. And so you're stepping in not knowing really what to expect. So yeah,
Right,
that experience, how do you prepare yourself mentally? I mean, we know the physical aspect, but mentally, because it's kind of like real estate and lending, right? There's people
right.
throwing things at us and we're comparing ourselves and we're competing. And so you step on that field for the first time, and like what is going through your mind when you're looking around at all these people that are competing against you?
Yeah, well, once you absorb it all and say, I actually made it, I'm here, once you get past that, that's when it starts. But I think by you not knowing Kendra, it actually puts you in the best position because you're naive. You don't know what to compare it to. You see everybody that you actually looked up to, all your models, all your aspirations, and is right in front of you. But if you just focus, because I was in the best position possible, I didn't know what to expect. I just knew I had to rely on my coaching, what I did every single day, my practice, and my own belief system. And that's how I stayed focused. But it
So it
can be
almost,
overwhelming for sure.
yeah, so it almost sounds exactly like real estate and lending, right?
Yes.
We just practice our scripts, we
Yeah.
focus on what we can control and make our calls and be well trained. So when that comes back to us, when those leads come back to us, then we know how to process through them, right? So
Right.
sports are a lot like business, right? You got to plant all the seeds, you got to do the work, you got to be prepared. So when you get to that appointment or you get that opportunity to walk in that appointment, that you're ready to rock and roll, right?
Right. It's so funny you say that, Kendra. That's a perfect segue because when I got exposed to mortgages, kid you not, it was a game for me. It was more so if you do one, two, three. Once again, it goes back to the structure. Follow the system. Do step one, step two, step three. If you build the foundation, everything else falls in place. I think a lot of people lose sight and look for this magic potion. It's truly no magic potion. It's do the work, show up, be consistent, and do what's necessary to actually win.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly where we are today. Whether it's business or athletes or, just general practice of life is we all want to shortcut it. And there's really
Right.
no shortcut. And
So true.
I'm training for a crazy race right now. And so I'm trying to learn like, what recovery drinks I can try and what's not going to tear up my stomach. It's the same thing in business. Like, what
Oh,
can I
yeah.
try? What script's going to work? How do we lay the plan out, follow the plan, be consistent, all the things that you mentioned in your training for being an athlete is exactly what we need to train for in business.
Right.
So I know you've suffered some defeat. Tell us how the Olympic trials come out. Tell us what that looks like. And then how do you overcome when that's over? Like, okay, that part of my life is over. Not that it's defeated, but it's over, right? That chapter is closed and I have to go on. And how do you transition out of that? Like, from athlete to go to work, and how do you transition your mind?
It's funny you say that because I was in shock for a long time. All I knew was track. All I knew was how to run. All I knew was how to get up, go lift weights, go to class, get done with that, and go back to the track. So when I transitioned, actually, when I went to the trials, I actually pulled my hamstring at the Olympic trials. So it was like devastating. Like you trained so long for this one experience and it's gone just like that. So I was depressed. I was deeply depressed. I felt defeated. I felt like I let myself down. I let my family down. So trying to rebound for that, I think it took me about 2.5 years to really get back on track mentally. So made up my mind. I'm like, hey, what do I really want to do? Like how can I see myself transition to the I guess everyday world? And real estate came about. Did you not? True story. My husband decided he wanted to be a real estate agent. And I'm like, okay, when you do that, I'm going to support you from afar. I mean, I just got to figure out what I want to do. And so he went to a class and said, oh my God, I think we could be great partners. You should be a loan officer and I should be a real estate agent. And I said, no, no, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to support you from afar. So, of course, he talked me into it probably like 2.5 months later. Once he gets licensed, I get licensed. After 2 weeks of him going out with one client, he goes, this is not for me. I can't do this. True story, true story. So once I start a task, I don't stop until it's truly fulfilled. So I got in by default because I was motivated by my husband to do it. And he don't do anything in real estate. 10 years later, he's a master electrician and I'm the opposite. So polar opposite, polar opposite. But transitioning to the everyday world, going back to what I stated, running the schedule, being patient, being consistent, and learning from the failure. So when I did fail, we used to go back and study the film, figure out what I did wrong. Kind of the same thing with real estate. Me being a loan officer. If I called 40 agents and only got two for an appointment, well, what did I not say? What should I have said differently? Well, how does this script go? How can I make it my own scripting? What do I say on an appointment? So it just going back, studying the word, getting better, tweaking the systems, meaning to fit your model and be consistent.
Oh,
That was my
in our
transition.
core language. Yes, yes. So I always have to go back to, so we pulled our hamstring. We didn't get into
Yep.
the Olympics. Was there anything ever in your mind? I know you're struggling with, hey, I didn't get there. Was there anything in your mind that said, I'm going to go back and do it one more time? I'm going to try one
It
more time.
was. Actually, it was. Tried again for 2008. Did the exact same thing. Got qualified. Pulled hamstring again. Same lane, same race. Lane 4, running 400 meters. So at this point, I'm having to come to Jesus meeting. God, what are you trying to tell me? Is this not meant for me to do? Because 4 years is a long time. Go from 2004 2008, and the exact same thing happened. So that's when I realized 27 years of age is old, but it's not old. But when you're running, you are very limited on time.
Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to go ahead and have a baby and step away and start over. So when I did that, I kid you not, I gained 187 pounds when I gave birth to my son. Yes, ma'am. I was one, no, I was 302 when I gave birth to my son, and I just deep depression, just eat, did everything wrong. So, but now I'm healthy. I work out every day. I maintain very healthy with my weight. People don't believe it, but I got pictures to prove it. But yeah, that's
Wow.
my story. Yeah.
That is incredible. That is
Yeah.
incredible. I did not know that part of your story.
Oh
But I
yeah.
can
I
see
mean,
how it would easily, you could easily go there because it's all consuming. That was your life for so long.
oh
And then
yeah.
you take that away and you've got to retrain the brain on like, what do I want to do? What do I live for? What do I want to get up and accomplish every day? So I can see it's
Oh yeah.
retraining the mindset of
Oh
I got to go
yeah.
through this. Wow.
Because
I had no
Kendra,
idea.
I was truly deflated. I mean, it was
Sure.
to the point I'm like, well, what am I doing? I truly had, I don't believe in plan A, plan B, because I really do believe you have different plans, you get distracted. So
Mhm.
all I know is stay focused, driven on one task, one goal. And if it doesn't work, figure out how you can keep tweaking it to make it work. But when you're running the sports, you on a timeline. Once you get a certain age, once you get to a certain level, is either you made it or you didn't. So I truly didn't know how to transition. I mean, I was shocked on what to do next. But thank
Wow.
God I rebound, and I found the core, and rest is history.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. So, burning question for a runner. Do you still run at all?
Yes, I actually have to. But it's not nothing fast paced. The ultimate goal is try to maintain 2 to 3 miles a day. But I
Okay.
really want to get to 5 miles a day. I've never been a long distance runner. I just do it more so for my heart and just to stay in shape. And also to de-stress from real estate.
Yes. So you and I are going to have to run together because I'm the slow, steady runner. I can run, 26.2 miles, no problem. But for me to run from, here across the street, I'd be winded because I'd be trying to run as fast as you. So I'd be in trouble. So one of these days I want to run with you. I think that would be super inspiring for me to run alongside of you because I admire you and the sport and the heart that you gave to that sport for so long. Love that story. So as we wrap up, give us one or two nuggets that our listeners will say, and there are people with the core that are listening to this, people who aren't with the core, but maybe just some things you took out of your first career, if you will, and into your business career that, hey, 1, 2, 3 big takeaways for you that we can all implement into our business. What would you say those are?
Goal setting. That's the biggest piece. If we don't have clear direction of where we're going to go, your destination will always shift. The target will always move. Second piece, never compare. No matter where you are in life, figure out what you want, figure out what's important for you and the why. I think a lot of people don't move with the why and move with the purpose. They just move for movement. And then they, mistake movement for achievement, and it's really not. You just move in your body. So when you don't have a clear target, clear, concise goals of what you're wanting, it's never clear. And the goal will be probably forever changing. Well, those are the big pieces that I would say take away. And find a great mentor. Like, that's so important. I think that we, especially athletes, we try to figure it all out ourselves and say, I'm just going to be hard, I'm just going to make it work. I think you need balance. I think a lot of people lose sight of having the right mentor with the right mindset and will stretch you just when you think you can't go further.
Oh my gosh. Can I just have you on here every month with those nuggets? Holy cow. Amazing. Yeah. Best takeaways. So set some goals, never compare yourself, and then have a great mentor or coach to help you get to those goals that'll hold you accountable, even when you don't want to get up and get out of bed in the morning and go for a run, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. Well, I'm honored that you took the time to talk to us today. We in the core are very fortunate to have you in our core nation. You guys go do some research on this young lady. She'll inspire you. If you need a mortgage in Houston, she's your girl. She's at NRL Mortgage. Tonette, thank you so much for your time and thank you for being part of us.
Pleasure.
We appreciate you. Have a great day. God
bless. You too. Thanks, Kendra. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.